Page 11, correcting NLP myths. NLP works and works like magic. And you can read there, NLP is a model and doesn't do anything. It's a tool. And you can use to learn to use it effectively, or you can learn to misuse it. So are you using it, and are you learning how to use it? So one of the myths is that NLP works, or you meet some people, it doesn't work. Well, either way, it doesn't do anything. It's just a model, a structure of the study of subjective experience. NLP content doesn't matter. Have you ever heard that one? Some of you have heard that one. Content doesn't matter. I would guess content matters about 20% of the time. I need so much content to ground things. I don't need a lot, but I need to know some things content-wise. And so maybe 80% would be structural or form, but content does count. In terms of who owns NLP, this used to be a big question, and it's why it's in here. One of the big myths during the 1980s and 90s, when this was a big debate, was who owns NLP. Well, that no longer is a question. The courts have decided that both in the States and in the UK. It's in public domain, so nobody owns it. Also, one of the things, back when this manual was created at probably 1999, was that there was no research. And even back then, this was not true. There's been a lot of research. Probably the person who has, for more years than anybody else, done research in NLP is Peter Schultz. Now, if you read German and you go to his websites in Austria, there has been longitudinal studies of research in NLP. There's lots of research. Since 2000, Paul Tosi has hosted the NLP Research Conference 2 or 3 times there in the UK. He has produced 3 research journals. So he has taken the lead. Frank Burke, B-U-R-K-E, Frank Burke, a retired professor from Yale, has led the NLP Research and Recognition Project. A few years ago, he got $500,000 from the US government to research post-traumatic stress disorder and the protocol for handling that Steve Andreas designed. And they've been studying that, and they've already got great results back from that. The research is being held for longitudinal studies, and it'll soon be finally given. There's been 2 or 3 books written. Evidence-Based Psychotherapy was a book by Rutgers University, which is a research university, and 13 contributors wrote that. So it's just not true. And on the Neuro-Semantic website, neurosemantics.com, if you go there to writings and go under research, we've got links to all of these places. So lots of research about NLP. NLP can be and should be installed unconsciously, so the conscious mind doesn't have to get in the way. Have you heard that one? Both Richard Bandler and John Grinder in the 1980s changed their attitude about NLP to this attitude. And it's really a paradox. NLP began as, you take charge, you run your own brain. Now, John thinks, let your unconscious run your brain. Who's my unconscious? And why would I trust my unconscious when my conscious gets mixed up? So it's just, and then Richard, he thinks that he should run your own brain. So when you go to his trainings, you're not allowed to take notes, and just close your eyes and he'll install what he thinks you need, which gets really cultish, and one of the things we've really moved away from. So there are some myths and misbeliefs. We'll be mentioning some of those as we go on. And there may be some that, like Irfan said this morning about one, I never even heard of that one. But because of some of the low quality training of NLP around the world and some of the things thrown in, a lot of times there's a lot of new age stuff. Perception is reality. Well, the law of attraction and other things. So a lot of misunderstandings about that. What I want to spend this afternoon is spending a lot of time on the last hour on the state, the learning state and the state of mastery. Page 14 does provide another picture of NLP. NLP in 4 aspects as a theory. So here's another misbelief about NLP, and both John and Richard started this at the very beginning. We have no theory. Well, we do have a theory. It's the cognitive psychology assumptions about human nature and psychology. Also the presuppositions state so much of the theory of NLP, the map territory distinction and constructionism and other things. The variables and elements. That's going to become really important in the next couple of days as we look at these different elements that we're going to use for modeling. And that answers the question, the what question, what are we going to be working with? Well, the VAK, the representational systems, submodalities, meta levels, language. So the variables that go in and make up the theory of NLP, and then the operational principles of NLP. So we'll be identifying that with more explicitly in the next few days, because there are operational principles, how to use the different models and patterns. And then out of all of that comes a set of patterns. So that's the last one here. Some people think NLP is just a set of patterns. And those who think that tend to use it as technology and treat it like they're just technicians running the technology. That is part of it. But without the spirit and without understanding what we're doing, the technology becomes pretty bland and oftentimes ineffective. We threw in here some history of NLP, but on page 18, a vision of mastery. So this page is put together from 4 distinctions that George Leonard made. George Leonard was one of the leaders of the human potential movement at Esalen. He was there, and he wrote a book on mastery. And in that book on mastery, he identified 4 types of people that he had experienced over the years: the dabblers, the hackers, the compulsives, and the masters. So where are you? What state? So we got this list, and the next page, Sally Ann Cotton from Australia put this together. I'm going to adapt it a little bit here in a minute. So the dabblers, they get involved into one thing. They may develop a certain level of skill, then they get bored, they drop it, and they move on to the next thing they dabble in. So a dabbler. You'll never be a master if you're a dabbler. So here's the dabblers. The hackers develop a certain basic skill level and are content then to sit on that plateau and never raise the level of their skill. So they evolve new levels of skill, usually only when there's crisis or need, some demand. And so the hackers. The compulsives reach the first level. They may become uncomfortable with that level of performance. And so they are the ones who push harder and harder to get better because they're compulsive. They may be obsessive compulsive. And so they may reach certain levels of competence, but it's at a real cost because they live under pressure. They want pressure, they need pressure. The masters understand that the plateau, whenever you get to a certain plateau, is just part and parcel of the mastery process. You know plateaus? Whenever you're developing anything, whether it's physical skills or mental skills, there'll be times when you hit a plateau, and for a long period of time, or it seems like a long period of time, you're not improving. Really, the plateau is the time of integration. So you've reached something, you've had insights, and it's exciting, and then it's just plateau. And so one of the things that George Leonard was dealing with in these 4 distinctions was how to handle the plateau. The dabblers get bored and they go find something else. The hackers kind of do the same thing, unless there's pressure, unless there's need or crisis, then they'll stay with that. And the compulsives, they think this is a problem. So then they get obsessive and compulsive about forcing it. Those who truly master, they're doing more optimizing, and they understand the plateau. This is the time for integration. And so they keep practicing, every bit as exciting as the spurts of growth, undaunted by plateaus. They view them as an expected part of the ebb and flow of life. And so they continue. So Sally put this together. She looked for 2 axes, and so this is what she did with it. She took the axes of vision and commitment. The dabblers don't have much vision or commitment or focus, so they're down here. The hackers have some, but not a lot of commitment. The compulsives have the commitment and vision, and they push it and force themselves that way. So instead of putting the hackers here, I put them over here. The other axis is that of impatience to patience. So most of these don't have a lot of patience. And so over here I put zombies. Because they don't have a lot of commitment, but they have a lot of patience. So they're not developing, and they don't have a vision. So if we're going to get to master's area, then it's going to require a different place. Where would you put yourself? If we had time, I would like everybody to come up and put your initials somewhere. Where would you put yourself? Where would you put yourself? We can use this with any and every area. Where would you put yourself in mastering your eating and exercising? Where would you put yourself on your resilience? Where would you put yourself on effective selling? Where would you put yourself on respectful communication? Where would you put yourself as working in a collaborative way or effectively handling group functioning? So where would you put yourself in terms of NLP, learning and skill development, in terms of coaching, in terms of training? Where would you put yourself? Because you may be in different places at different times. And so it's about state. And what Sally did here was to identify some of the states. So the dabblers usually are in a state of boredom. And so they want to feel good, and so they chase the feel-good feeling. And so if it's uncomfortable, they don't handle that well. They get impatient. And so the hackers, they tend to be in states of crisis, tension, and stress. And so they tend to do management by stress. And so their states. The compulsives, driven, they're in the state of perfectionism. Could be better. Keep raising the bar. And so they're pushing themselves, and they're obsessive compulsive. And in the master state, we've got competence, building of competence that lead to confidence. And we got enjoyment and contribution. We've got continuous improvement, the Kaizen. And so different states. So this brings up the question, what are the states of mastery? What are the states of mastery. We suggested this morning that to master NLP, you need the spirit of NLP, which is the spirit of curiosity. Are you curious? One of the ways I'll do some testing here is the kind of questions you ask. Uh-oh. Because if you're curious and if you have that exploration attitude and always thinking, what else? The spirit of NLP is that sense of wonderment, that sense of awe, that sense of what's next, what's going to happen. So that anticipation and that passion. So this brings up the states of mastery. We've been talking a lot in Neuro-Semantics in the last 2 or 3 months, especially about deliberate practice. So deliberate practice is the ability to break a skill down to small pieces and practice that small piece until it's integrated. Practice it under supervision so I keep getting refinement and feedback so I can really accelerate my learning by that deliberate practice. Deliberate practice requires some openness and some vulnerability. It requires collaborating with others and asking for feedback, really having a hunger for feedback, and optimizing by doing the best you can with what you've got and enjoying it and letting it count. So all of that would be some of the states of mastery. So this brings up 2 states that we're going to be integrating, and one state is going to be serious. Now, serious means you're earnest, your commitment, you've bought into it, you've made the decision, you've got a vision, you are wanting to be true to yourself, and you want to make. So you're earnest and committed. But we know that if you're only serious, when you get serious, you get stupid. So we need another state. We need the state of joy and playfulness, having fun. So we need that state. When we put them together, we're going to be playfully serious. We'll still be earnest. But we'll temper it, we'll qualify it, we'll texture it with that quality of, we're having fun and we're enjoying it. And so calling this optimizers. People get over serious, they become tyrants, otherwise known as assholes. Now, people who are over playful, they become silly and stupid in a different way. And then, of course, if you're neither serious nor playful, then the land of Charlie Brown. Blah. So moving up here are some of the states that we want to have if we really want to master this. And so the playful seriousness is what we want to do. Where would you put yourself on this one? So if you were to come up and put your initials, where would you put your initials? Where would you tend to go? When you're learning. When you're, what context? When you're learning, when you're practicing a new pattern. When you're working on your modeling project, where would you put yourself? So do we have, Vanessa or Verna, do we have the quadrants mapped out in the back on the floor? Because instead of coming up and putting our initials, we thought, some of the team leaders thought, we'll just do it on the floor back there. We'll move all those chairs out. And we'll go and first of all find your default place. So we'll just look at where all the silly people are, the blah people, if anybody wants to own up to that. And so as they get that ready, we'll go back there. And then we're going to go try these on. And then just for the fun of it, then we'll try these on. This is all about state, and one way to do some state accessing is to do something along this line of embodying it on the floor with those quadrants. So, and this will hopefully help to set the pace for the next few days as we get serious, as we get playful, playfully serious about the things that we're going to do. My first book of NLP was titled The Spirit of NLP. It was my master prac. And so I wrote it, and the thing that stood out to me was the spirit of NLP, not so much the content and the technology, but it was about you've got to have the right spirit. And it's a spirit of learning, it's a spirit of discovery, it's a spirit of fallibility, it's a spirit of collaborating with others, and a spirit of wonderment. What's going to come out of any given moment of an experience? So are we ready to go? So we're going to go back, and as we go back that way, we will have quadrants 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 for fun and for serious.
Which is 1, 2, 3, 4?
So every time I do the quadrants, it's going to be this way. So the one that goes this way in this room is going to be this one here, the playful, not playful, playful. And then we'll start over here with serious, or not serious, and then up to serious. So serious will be over there to where the coffee is.
Playful is where the door is.
Playful is where the door is. So you don't need anything as you come over here.
You serious? You?
More and more playful is over by the door. More and more serious is over here. This will be quadrant 1. This is the Charlie Brown quadrant. That's the silly quadrant. This is the tyrant quadrant. Tyrant. No, this is blah. Blah.
This is the people who enjoys life.
She said up here. And she said here. Here.
So is everybody where you should be? I knew Ervant would be here, but I didn't know Father James would be here.
Yeah, you haven't seen him.
Nobody's going to claim to be in the quadrant 1, huh? So let's do this. Everybody in the serious quadrant, come over here to the silly, and everybody in the silly go to the serious.
Smile. Smile. Smile.
So if this is silly, this is playful without serious, what would that feel like?
Scandalous.
Scandalous. And if that is serious without playful, what would happen to your face, your body, your breathing? Okay. So those of you in the playful, serious quadrant, if you'll come over to the blah quadrant, just to try that on. No joy, no vision, no drive. Now, this is designed to help you have compassion for people who do live there. Those of you here, why don't you go to the joyful, serious?
Playful, right?
And now the serious playfulness can go to the serious. All right. So how's that? What changes does that make in your body and your state? And if those of you now in the serious one will go over and join them in the playfully serious. And they don't care. Now, I don't know if we can get everybody in that quadrant, but if you guys want to join them. Let's now try the other quadrant. This will be the dabblers, the hackers, the compulsives, and the masters. So let's change the name. This will be the dabblers, dabbling. So you get excited, and but you can get bored easily, especially when you get impatient. Dabblers. Hackers will be kind of on the line. Hackers. So you get involved. Let's put the dabblers way down here, and then the hackers on the line. And so the hackers will be the ones who are driven by stress. So it's you need to, and it's commitment by crisis. The compulsives will be at the top of this one over here.
Sorry, where do you put
Hackers right on the line.
here?
Yep. Yep. And then the compulsives will be up at the top. Nobody's moving. Now, if you're a zombie, you're over here. Zombies over here. So, zombies are comfortable. Zombies are quite patient, even though there's not much vision or direction.
No correlation to competence, right? No correlation to competence.
Where is his mic?
Compulsives are over there where Jose is.
Michael? So, no correlation to competence, right?
Well, it could be very competent, very skilled.
She could be here, but not very competent.
And then over here, we've got the masters. So this quadrant here is masters, bit by bit, optimizing,
Zombies is here, Paige.
and zombies over here. The zombies will come out tonight. All right. So we want to try on the others. So at your own rate and speed, just go and visit these other places. So here at dabbling is people get excited, but as soon as they get impatient and it's not working, or they hit a plateau, then they're off to something else and dabbling somewhere else.
We shouldn't stay here long.
So yeah, you don't want to stay there long.
Let's just double.
Just dabble here. I'm bored. Let's go. Next.
Now, zombies, they don't have much of a vision, but they're very patient. To put up with life with whatever it is.
Yeah. There's a lot of occupations for this. There's a lot of occupations for this.
Zombies, why should I change?
C-suite. Everything's good. The C-suite.
These are your clients.
You know, Michael, this is the call centers in the Philippines. Awake the whole night and dead in the day.
This is the government.
Now the hackers, they have not only dabbled, but they've actually become pretty good at something, and they're hacking, but it's stress-driven. So it's driven by stress. They like stress. They like deadlines. And so they live in that state of stress. If you're visiting the compulsives, they have to get better. They need to. It's not good enough. They're perfectionists. If you want to visit the masters, they're the ones who are optimizing. I'll do what I can, see how it goes. I'll learn. It's okay. Everything counts. And so they get on the plateau. It's just a part of life. It's okay. So they're optimizing. So now that you have visited them, where would be your default place kind of generally?
Where would you want to go?
We all want to end up in the quadrant 4. So how far away from quadrant 4 are you generally? Let's do this team by team. So if everybody will step aside except team 1. Team 1. If you're in Mandy's team, stay here. Position yourself where you think you kind of generally live. Team 1. Okay. All right.
Have you two met?
All right, let's do team 2. Who's team 2? That's Marzuki's team. Team 2. All right. So Marzuki, you got a lot of work to do with your team. Okay. All right. Let's do team 3. Team 3 is Muhammad's team. Okay, a bunch of hackers in this team. Go hackers. Okay. And team 4? So Jermaine. Jermaine, you got a bunch of compulsive. Okay, team 4. Team 5. So Sandra and Aldum. Okay. So we'll be back to the big room and
And Michael, where are you?
In which context?
yes, I was at the meta level.
I think we need Geraldine to ground him out.
We said this morning we'll let you know which will be your project. So your team leader has a copy of this, which is all the members of their team. So everybody, number 1, you'll be doing resilience. So in Mandy's team, that's Geraldine. In Marzuki's team, that's Sheila. In Mohammed's team, that's Vanessa. In Jermaine's team, that's Tish. And in Sandra's team, it's Aldum will be taking that one. So if you're number 2 on this list, effective selling will be what you'll be the project manager of to do this. If you're number 3, then respectful communications, and etc. So these will be our projects that we'll be working on. So in your team, you've got 5 collaborators, counting your team leader, 6. So collaborators. So in the next few days, as we go through for days 2 and 3 on the modeling tools and processes, you'll start thinking in terms of who do I want to interview, what do I want to do to begin gathering information for this subject. Already, you can use the meta model to start meta modeling the language so that you begin getting an operational definition. Here's an experience, and your task will be to get the structure of that experience. How does it work? And so beginning tomorrow, we'll start talking about that process. You'll want to get the strategy or the strategies involved. Everyone will have multiple strategies for each one. These 6 things, we think, would help you basically be masterful in your life. So that starting with resilience, you'll have a sense of, if I get knocked down, I'll just bounce back. So you can't keep a good man, can't keep a good woman down, because I've got bounce, I've got resilience. And I can sell my ideas, I can sell my products, I can sell my trainings, I can get people to see the value of what I can do that adds richness and value to their lives. So the selling. Respectful communication. As I interact with people, I can do so respectfully, even if I disagree, even if they're not respectful. So respectful communication. How I take care of myself, my eating and exercising, for my energy, for my vitality, for my well-being. I've got a strategy, a model, a process by which I can take care of myself, so I'm at my best. When I work with groups, I've got a model for effective group functioning, whether that's a small group like your family, or your business group, or your business partners, or a church group, or some other group, so group functioning, and then working collaboratively with people so as to get people on board as collaborative partners. Because if you can be masterful in these areas, you'll probably have a pretty well-balanced, healthy life. And so at the 12 days from now, we want to see to what extent we can have some really high-quality strategy models of these. So you'll be in charge of one. You'll also be a collaborative partner to all the rest. So just because you're in charge of one doesn't mean you don't get to study and apply all the rest. So, quickly go to the groups, huddle around, and a quick assessment would be just with your hands, just with your fingers. How resilient am I now? If I get knocked down by a business setback, by a health crisis, by a relationship crisis, if something knocks me down, would I be a 3? Would I be a 7? Would I be a 5? Would I be a 6? So your team leader will ask you this, and then we'll be looking. Part of the reason for this is if I know someone is a 7, an 8, or 7 on any one of these, I might want to go interview them. If someone is a 2, I might want to interview them to find out what's lacking. So this will be one way, collaboratively, we can work with each other and tap into the intelligence, the experience that you bring to this group. So let's do this real quickly, like 5 minutes, into the teams, and just do. One of the things I forgot to mention this morning, but it's fine for today, most evenings, there may be a few exceptions, at 6 o'clock we will take some time with anybody planning to train Master Prac, and we will spend some time entertaining your questions about how to train it. So that means you need to have a double focus. One, experiencing Master Prac as we're doing it, and the other is when I train it, if I train Master Prac as such, or if I train one of the modules. So it might be you just want to train one of the modules. Then in the evening, when we have our conversations, what are your questions about training? So we'll do a little bit of that this evening in just a few minutes at 6 o'clock. Questions as we wrap up today. So today we're reviewing NLP. So content questions as we're wrapping up. Okay. So most days will kind of be like this. We'll be having some presentation, experiencing things, applying it to the projects. There'll be time to do the projects. Most days will be done at 6:30. There could be some we go to 7 with the trainers. So that means that the evenings are really available to you to do either some interviewing, getting with your team, or doing whatever you think is the best for your learning development here. Because most of us are here, I think there may be a few people going home in the evenings in this traffic. Otherwise, we have time in the mornings and in the evenings for connecting and doing different kind of things. So that wraps up for today for our interview. Tomorrow we go to looking at how to model. So given what we know in NLP with strategy and TOTE and that kind of, we're now going to look at some tools for modeling and the framework for modeling. So we'll do that for 2 days. Then we go to meta programs, then we go to mind lines, etc. So Aldum, where's Aldum or where's Vanessa? Verna.
For those who are staying in the evening,
For those who are staying in for the evening, buffet will be served. Actually, it started by 4 p.m. and it ends at 10. So 10 p.m.
Okay. How many will be staying for the training, the trainer's thing? So most everybody. Okay. 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 So this is for training it. It's especially for training master practitioner. And if you don't know, maybe I will, maybe I won't, then feel free to join us because it may be in preparation. So that's what we'll do. And let's take a kind of 5-minute restroom, just stretching break, and then we'll be back to do that.
Anna has a suggestion regarding the numbers.
Yes, if we can post the rate, the numbers for. If we can post the numbers for each person, so that we will know who to interview.
So I think what we're going to do is post it for the group. So it'll be like Team 5 is just finished, Jermaine's team, and so they've got the number of the people, their group, and then they got the numbers for each of these questions. So show them what you got. Okay, so if each team can present that, then you can look at that and see who do you want to interview.
In my team, almost a similar score, so it is very difficult to find the person to do.
And is everybody right in the middle? 5, 6 to 8. 8 is really high.
So almost the same.
Well, they can interview anybody then. We may have to talk about cognitive distortions. Especially the cognitive bias of attribution. We all think we're higher than average.
There's no definitions. I can raise that. There's no definition of distinction. So it's more like based on gut feeling. That's why I'm not comfortable to put a rating. Right.
Well, it is just general, yeah. Yeah.
And how does this cognitive distortion coming in?
It-
Because it's so general, right? So how I perceive myself compared to
Right.
everyone
Right.
perceive themselves.
Right. Yeah.
That's the conclusion.
You gotta learn by now.
So this is one of the challenges of modeling, finding exemplars. Now, if I'm going to go find an exemplar, I'm going to look for evidence. So if someone tells me they're a really great salesperson, what do you sell? What's your numbers? How much product are you selling? What kind of return on investment are you getting? So I'm going to look. Someone may say that, and then I'm going to start asking those questions to see if if it's real or not, or if it's just self-promotion. And it's the challenge of modeling, finding good exemplars, because everybody who says they are doesn't. We have had people who said that so-and-so was an expert coach. 3 times we've had the expert coach come in. One time in Hong Kong, and after I started interviewing, it was obvious this is not an expert coach. They presented, their website presented it, people referred to them as that, and when we started asking, there was one lady, Mandy will remember this, she was a president of the ICF, and we invited her in, and we started asking her, she didn't even do coaching. And it was just a lot of fluffy air, and so I tried to be as nice as I could and say thank you. But it went nowhere, and it gave us really no information. There have been a couple people preparing her for it, and so welcome to the world of finding exemplars. The ones who actually can be a good model that you would want to produce. Yeah, let's do a 5-minute break and then we're back here.